Hey, Plant Papa here. Today I'm just going to be talking about some of my gear and food choices on the Pacific Crest Trail and some of the mistakes that I made and things that I had to learn along the way. Uh, Several years ago, I bought dehydrated food. It was kind of like an emergency supply. And when I started to plan for the Pacific Crest Trail, I thought, well, why not use some of this food? I mean, I didn't know a lot about nutrition back then when I bought this food, but I wouldn't buy the same type of emergency long-term storage food. I would definitely look for different choices at this point. But I want to, that's a topic for another time, but I want to go over some of the food that I chose for the Pacific Crest Trail and why I wouldn't do it that way again and what I would do now. So one of the foods I wanted to show you, the reason I don't like this food, like for instance, here's a package of mango. It's dehydrated mango or dried mango. Now, normally you would think this would be a perfectly fine. I mean, it's just mango. And I thought, wow, this would make for a great trail snack. Well, when I first opened one of these, I took a handful. I thought, man, this doesn't actually taste all that great. So that's when I finally looked at the label, which I should have done before I even threw it in my pack. But if you look in here, it's not just dried mango. They've added sulfur dioxide as a preservative, and they actually added yellow dye, FDC yellow number 5 and number 6. Like, these are known carcinogens. I mean, I do not want to be eating this stuff. Like, why would you even do that? It's just dehydrated mango. Like, it doesn't have to look pretty. So I don't know what they were thinking, but it just wasn't good enough. And then I noticed the same kind of thing with this. This is a meal package. It's a mango habanero chili. Now, when you read the ingredients, once again, it's got number 5 and number 6 dye in. And I'm thinking, why? It doesn't have to look pretty. It's just survival food. So I don't know what they're thinking, but these are the types of things you do not want to put in your body. So this is not maybe the best choice for the Pacific Crest Trail. And the calorie intake, that was probably one of the biggest things that I struggled with. I was definitely in a calorie deficit. As I said in our past video, I was losing, half a pound a day. And so my calorie deficit was probably fairly significant. I am 5'8", 170 pounds. So I probably, when I'm on the trail hiking for, 6 to 8 hours a day, or maybe even more some days, I need 3,000 calories roughly per day. And I estimate I was probably doing maybe 2,000. I was probably in 1,000 calorie deficit. That's just a rough estimate. So what I would do different is this. First of all, I should say there are some dehydrated foods that I'm okay with. Like, for instance, when I was showing you this kind of stuff, I also had some freeze-dried broccoli. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just broccoli. There's nothing else added. I also had sweet corn. I was adding that to some of my meals. And so these are good. You want your vegetables, but they don't provide a lot of calories. So you definitely need to supplement these. These are just things that I added to my meals just to get a little vegetables in my diet. But what I also thought, and I was kind of being naive about the whole thing, I thought I could probably get away with like 1 snack bar per day. Now that was totally way off. Like, you probably want to have like 3 or 4 of these per day. You want to have your breakfast, have a cereal bar, have your lunch, have another cereal bar of some kind, or a Larabar like this, and then maybe after dinner another bar. Like, you need a lot of calories. You're walking a long way. You might even want a little bit of trail mix. You got to have this. Like, you got to feed yourself a lot of calories. I was probably breaking down in my muscles. I know before I left for the trail, I could do 13, 14 chin-ups, no problem. But when I got home, I could only do 9, barely. And I was doing push-ups all the time. I could do 40 plus when I left for the PCT. When I got back, I could only do 25. I mean, my body was not getting stronger. It was actually getting weaker. So I definitely would do things differently. So let me show you the calories that you're probably going to need for 1 day, and then times that by 5 days. If you have to walk 5 days before your next resupply, this is what you're going to need just for 1 day. Let me show you. So first of all, I just wanted to talk about these peak meals. I did add a couple of these to my meals when I was on the trail, and I actually do like these. When you look at the ingredient list, for the most part, they're fairly healthy, and this is 610 calories if you eat this entire pack on the trail. So if you look at what you have here with the bars and the nuts, you have roughly about 1,700 calories, and now you have to almost double that to get to the goal of about 3,000 calories. So if you see here, I added a pack of tuna, and I added a pack of organic brown rice with quinoa. Now quinoa is actually a complete protein. It has all the amino acids that you need to survive. So it's definitely a good choice. These two together add about 500 more calories to your overall 1 day supply. Now here's an option for your breakfast. If you take a look at this now this is from the same company that had the other dehydrated products, but this particular thing is actually not bad. You can see it's got wheat, barley, rye, oats, corn, millet, buckwheat, and flax. Now and there's nothing else added to it, so this I would actually use. And then you can also add whey milk, powdered whey. And so now you could split this pack in half so you're not carrying as much weight. But this here, this container of multigrain cereal, that's like 10 servings, they say. But I would probably say it's more like 5 servings. I would double it. So have a double serving of this multigrain cereal, and you're going to add 200 calories. And if you add some whey milk, you're probably going to add another 100 calories, maybe even 200 if you double it up. So that right there can give you 400 calories for your breakfast. So what you see here currently is about 2,500 calories. And of course, like I said, you could split this in half and send it forward to yourself. But this I would carry on a 5-day trip. So if you're on a 5-day trip, you've got enough for 5 breakfasts with these 2 packs. But this is basically what you're going to need for 1 day. Now you're at 2,500 calories. Another thing you could add is maybe something to snack on. So I like these honey-coated banana chips. These are an excellent trail snack. They're quite tasty. They're 180 calories in a half a cup. So if you had, a full cup of these on the trail as you're walking, you're going to add about 400 more calories, 500 more calories, and that'll put you up to the 3,000 mark. So basically what you're looking at right there, that's basically a 1 day supply, a little bit more than 1 day supply, because again, you can split these up if you had to, but you're going to want to carry that much food for 1 day. So imagine if you had a 5-day carry. It's a lot of food, but that is unfortunately the way it is. You need to have at least 3,000 calories. And if you're 6 foot, 200 pounds, you might even need a bit more. But these are the things that I would choose now. And like I said, I thought I could get away with 1 of these. I realize now it's more like at least 3, if not 4 or 5 in a day. So you're going to need 5 bars, maybe you could probably get away with 4, but depending on how far your walk is, how many miles you're doing each day. But that is your food supply right there for 1 day. And this is way healthier than what I was doing with this stuff over here. So I hope that was as clear as possible. I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section there, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have. But for the most part, in a basic breakdown, you're going to want to have your breakfast, and then you're going to have a cereal bar or one of these macro bars, or maybe a Cliff bar. and then you're going to have lunch, and then you're going to have another bar, and you're going to change it up and try and, put a little variety so you're not always eating the same thing. And then you're going to have dinner, and you're going to have yet another bar. And then you're going to, maybe on the trail, you might snack on the banana chips like I talked about. And then eventually, you're going to stop, have your meals. But, that's, it's a lot of food, but that's really what it takes to keep your calorie intake. Now, this is just my opinion. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people that would say, well, you could do this or do that. But I mean, it's what works for you. And what I started with on the trail is not what I ended up with when I got off the trail. I was definitely, I started to eat tuna, and I was eating these packs of Uncle Ben's quinoas, and I had started to eat these. So that's the basic breakdown on the food. And so now I'm going to show you some of my gear and the gear that I used on the trail, and you'll see that most of my gear was perfect. The only problem I had was with my backpack, and I've got my Gregory Zulu with me, and I'll show you that, but let's get to it. All right, so I kind of got my gear set out here. So first thing I wanted to show you was my new Gregory Zulu 65. Not a lightweight backpack by any means. It probably weighs about 3.5 pounds, but it is a 15 to 19 inch torso, and I need at least 16 or less. So I have it actually set for 15. So it's all the way down, and that's where I like it. It stays on my hips without sliding down, which puts less pressure on my shoulders and less pressure on my back. And as you know, my back was a serious problem. I mean, that's why I'm basically off the trail right now. And I did go to the chiropractor the other day, and I also went to a massage therapist. So I had a little work done on my back. It's still not 100%, so we'll see how it goes. I still kind of think I won't be able to get back onto the trail this year. I mean, we'll see what happens, but it might be over for this year. But I'll be doing some other backpacking trips potentially, so stay with us, and and I'll go over some of the gear and what worked, and yeah, most of my gear was perfect. Backpack, that was the only issue I had. So these are the shoes that I wore for basically the first 450 miles of my trek. These are the Altra Lone Peak 7. I mean, look at them. They're still actually in pretty good shape. Even the bottoms, I mean, there's some wear obviously right here and a little bit more up here, but they're not torn or ripped and I did not get a single blister the entire time that I was on the trail, the first 450 miles to almost 500 miles. Not one single blister. So I was very happy with these Lone Peaks. They're very lightweight, comfortable, perfect, absolutely perfect. Good job, Altra. And one of the reasons I probably didn't get blisters is I used these wipes. Now, if you want, you can go back to one of our previous videos. I think it was day 24, and I wiped down every night. Like, I would get one of these wipes ready to go. I would put some cedarwood essential oil, and I would do a little wipe down, including my feet. So I kept my feet clean. I was always changing out my socks. And so yeah, check out day 24 if you want to see how those work. Those I would add to your pack, absolutely 100%. So here's my one of my trekking poles. This brand is the, I don't even know how you say that, Comperdale, I guess. Carbon fiber poles. They worked great. Fully adjustable, obviously, but even the tips are still perfect. No problems with the tips at all. They're tiny bit of wear on them, but these things held up great, never broke, nothing. I mean, they got beat up a little on the trail from all the bushes that scratch and grab and tear everything, but other than that, they're still perfect condition. I will continue to use these. And of course, my Black Diamond axe. I love this thing. I mean, even though I didn't really use it for its real purpose, it does have this hammerhead on it. And that was great for pounding in the pegs for the tent and some of that tougher soil. So I also used this on some of the campsites where there was a designated site, but they were a little bit unlevel. I actually used this to, dig the ground up and actually level the site. So I left the site better than when I found it. It was a lot more level thanks to this. So this was a great addition. I would probably carry this all the time. I just liked having it. I used it virtually every day. So, and it's not that heavy. Some people would not want to carry it just because, they're ultralighters and they don't want to carry anything they don't need, but I used it every day. I liked it. All right, so a couple other things. I was just kind of getting things spread out here, but a couple other things that I would still use on the trail that I loved having with me. This is my solar panel that I had. You probably saw this in my videos. I would continue to bring this along. I know it's extra weight, but it's not that much weight. It probably doesn't even weigh a pound, and it charged everything. Every day while I was walking, I had this out, charged up all my electronics, so I was quite happy with this. I would definitely bring it along. My umbrella, again, this G4 free brand, no problems, worked great, and I used it several times. This was my little drinking cup. I got this at Mountain Equipment Company, otherwise known as MEC. I've seen them on Amazon and stuff too, but I would definitely bring that along. I mean, it literally weighs nothing. And of course, my Jetboil Minimo. I love this thing. It was a great stove. I know you can get smaller versions, and you can even go with just the stove top itself in different brands and stuff, but I like this. It worked well, cooked everything I needed just perfectly, so I would definitely keep that and use it again. So let's talk about my sleep system. So as you guys know, I went with kind of an off-brand, the Wanderlin. Now this tent, I'll tell you right now, value for money, this was fantastic. Almost 500 miles and this thing never failed. There's no tears or rips, nothing broke. It worked perfectly, and you can buy this on Amazon for $150. Like, it just don't get any better in my opinion. It comes with the it's just under 4 pounds, so it's a little heavier than some of the ultralight tents out there, but it comes with, it's a 2-wall tent. It comes with the fly. It has the ground sheet. It's ultra light when you consider all the added things you're getting with it. And I got caught in a windstorm that was unbelievable, and some other tents in our group, they failed in that windstorm. This did not. This thing held up perfect. Now, I had snow, I had hail, I had rain, and none of it ever came into the tent. It was perfectly dry all the time. So I don't know, I think this is the best value out there when it comes to ultralight, or not ultralight, but to lightweight backpacking tents. To me, this is a no-brainer. Thank you, Wanderlin. You worked perfect, and I will continue to use this tent because there's nothing wrong with it. What else do I have? Well, I've got my pillow. This thing I loved. This is from Decathlon. It's the 4-class. This is an awesome pillow. It fits in, if you have a mummy style sleeping bag, this fits right into the head part and it doesn't come out. You can adjust this. It's got a foam top, so it's very comfortable and so lightweight, and it just folds up to like nothing. Definitely get one of these. I mean, this is a great pillow. I loved it, and I would certainly bring it along on any backpacking trip that I ever do again. So yeah, one of those. And of course, my puffy jacket, which is also from Decathlon. This is a score. I mean, if you don't have one of these, you're missing out. This is an amazing puffy jacket. It stood till -5, and I was always warm. I even wore this when I was in bed sometimes on those colder nights, and it really helped. So with the combination of your sleeping bag and wearing this, I mean, this is a no-brainer. Like, these Decathlon items are great value. They work great. They held up perfectly fine. And even the pants I'm currently wearing, these are from Decathlon, and they zip off at the bottom here on the knees. So I'd be wearing these on the trail from now on too. These are new, actually. I didn't have these on the trail with me. So yeah, I'm real happy with all the Decathlon products that I purchased. I like all of them. worked great. Forgot to mention, I got off track. I was talking about my sleep system. So I had the tent. I showed you the tent. This is my sleep and go. This is a blow up style mattress. No problems. Never popped. Never lost air. And I was in the desert where everything tries to sting you, bite you, poke you, or scratch you. This thing worked perfect. And I should say, I also had a closed cell phone mat underneath this to help protect it. Now that mat I also would use again. I would do this. I would do it with this in combination because the closed cell phone mat actually gives you an R value of 2, and this gives you another R value of 2. So I was quite warm. I had no issues with being cold. I had the Drake Mech Draco, pardon me. Mech Draco -9 sleeping bag. No problems. It was a mummy style, worked great. I was never cold at all. And then we had some cold nights. So again, this sleep and go, this is the best value on Amazon you're going to find for a blow up mat. Like, it's a no-brainer. And they got a 1-year warranty and stuff. So even if it did pop, they'd send you another one free of charge. So it's all good. Like, this is a good mat. Now, what else do I got here? Well, I've got my Thermarest. This is a liner that you put inside your sleeping bag. Now, I used this for several nights, but later in the trip, I would send this back home probably because you don't need it. You don't need the warmth of it. It'd probably be way too hot with this in your sleeping bag, and it's just extra weight. And I was telling you guys how my backpack weight was way too high, so I needed to think of ways to reduce that. So this I would send back home once I got further along on the trail. But I loved it. It did add warmth, and it kept the sleeping bag clean. And so yeah, Thermarest Thermarest liner for your sleeping bag. Fairly decent item to have. And and then I've got my ice spikes. Did not use them. Probably should have. As you know, I did slide down that one snowbank, and that was a pretty scary situation. Had I had these on, maybe that wouldn't have happened. So I didn't use these. I carried them around for 450 plus miles, but oh well. I should have used them. Now, as far as my water, this is what I was using primarily on the trail. It's by Aquamira. It's the GTO Go 2, whatever they call it. I'm not even sure what they call it. But what I liked about this is it had this built-in filter. So that's your filter right there. And all you had to do was scoop the water, put this on, and suck. It was very easy to use. I had 2 of these, but when I fell down that hill, I lost one of them, and I also had another plastic bottle. I lost that as well. But if I was to do it again, I would only bring one of these. And I also have the Aquamira brand reservoir, which is a 3-liter reservoir. I would use one of these and the reservoir. I was carrying 2 of these and the reservoir. So one of these it's just more weight that I probably didn't need, because this probably weighs, I don't know, maybe a pound, maybe not quite that much, but I got to look for ways to reduce my pack weight. I hope to drop my pack weight by about 10 pounds. Now, what some of you might not know is I was actually carrying a laptop during my trek. That's right, I was carrying a laptop. Most people thought I was crazy, and I have to agree with them now. It was extra weight that I didn't need. I think it was a small laptop. It was lightweight. But with the cords and everything, it probably weighed about 3 pounds. So, you get rid of one of these, you get rid of the laptop, which is probably around 3 pounds. You get rid of this, there's another pound. I don't need to carry the ice spikes anymore. There's another pound. I think with some of my clothing reductions, I could probably get my pack weight down about 10 pounds, which is what I will do next time I head out on backpacking trip, which might even be the PCT yet. I don't know. But so I think that about wraps it up for my gear. Again, if you have any questions on my gear or the food, please put your question down in the comment section, and I'm sure I will get to it. And hopefully, you know, I gave you some information that might be valuable, but that's basically what I did. A lot of the gear, like I said, I would use again and I would bring with me, other than, you know, the stuff like my laptop. Yeah, so anyways, I guess that's a wrap for this edition of the PCT, and we look forward to bringing you some more videos in the near future. And if you like, you know, this video and would like to subscribe, please do so. And we'll see you on the next one. Talk to you later.